So Troy, we'll interview with you for your last days here in Kenya before you return for the high season of December.
Yes.
Now, you brought up before that you've been to Nigeria, South Africa, and I wanted to, some people like to say that Kenya and South Africa are competing when really, if we talk about I've never been, but if we talk about the danger alone, that puts Kenya above South Africa from everything I've heard.
Yes.
Just assuming.
Yes.
So what initially made you pick Kenya over South Africa?
Well, the only time I've ever had an option to possibly live in Joburg was when I first moved here. I was working for a company called EXP, and it's, at least it was, Africa's biggest experiential advertising agency. So I was their creative director and marketing director, and they were based out of Joburg. But they had offices in like maybe 15 other African countries. And just going there a lot for like big meetings and things of that nature, I was like, okay, infrastructure is dope. My favorite thing about Joburg is the cost of living. You know, it's dirt freaking cheap. Like, it's way cheaper than living here. Going out to dinner, even shopping, cars, houses, apartments are way cheaper than here. So I love that part of Joburg, or South Africa. And I can only speak to Johannesburg because I've never been to Durban, although I want to visit. And I've never been to Cape Town, which I will go within the next 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
But living there, like all my American friends that live there, they have to worry about security. You know, they all have security guards. Whenever they go anywhere, they got like a guard with them. I don't like that. I want to be free.
Well, culturally, which one would you say has more of a African cultural experience? Like, which one is more African feeling when you're there? Is it Kenya or when you were in South Africa?
I'd say they're both tied, but then when you take, like, I've been to Lagos a lot, and there's a definitely African feel and vibe in Lagos in the way people dress, their style, and things of that nature. I think Kenya, SA, due to, colonization or colonialism, and how it's stuck, especially here with the Brits, there's just a little less kind of like African vibe.
Whitewash.
Yeah, whitewash. Good saying. You go to meetings here, everybody's dressed in suits and regular dresses and stuff like that. But there, I'll speak on Lagos, like, everyone's wearing like some type of African attire.
But South Africa,
which is kind of cool. South Africa was a mix. I might give South Africa an edge on people wearing more African attire, like on the streets and things of that nature. I might give them a slight edge. Joburg over Nairobi. But like I said, the infrastructure I like there, and I like the cost of living. But then everything else, Kenya's got Nairobi's got Johannesburg beat.
So would you say that, did you go to any safaris in South Africa?
No. But I've had friends that have done safaris in South Africa and done safaris here, and Kenyan safaris are the best in the world.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so you spoke about safety and security. As a tourist, this is clearly an obvious answer. You would give Kenya the biggest plus for security when it comes between them and South Africa.
Oh, most definitely. Definitely. Like, the worst I've ever heard of anything ever happening to anybody is getting their phone stolen here. That's it. That's the worst that's ever happened to me. And it was just my dumb ass in the back of a cab one night, window down, on social media, not paying attention, and somebody reached in, grabbed my phone. By the time I even realized that Joan was gone, it was like, I was like, oh shit, somebody's trying to take my phone. You know, had the Uber stop, and dude just disappeared in the night. So that was just out of my ignorance, and I shouldn't have had my window rolled all the way down. But that's the worst. In Joburg, I've had friends get in fights. I've had friends that have been robbed by gunpoint, almost like the same shit that happens in the States happens there. You know, Nairobi, there's very few guns on the street, and I love that. You know, there, lots of guns on the streets.
Okay, so do you think the people there are more hospitable compared to South Africa? Like, do you find the people in South Africa to be kind of westernized, where they're a little cold and slightly rude, or?
I've never experienced any type of rudeness, but what I will say is, and I'm gonna just be real blunt, I think they have more of a lasting effect of colonization to their mentality, where they still dealing with a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, tribally, you know, amongst different tribes, xenophobia, and I don't blame them. I blame the system that they were under, which was wretched. It was freaking horrible. You know, and they were under that system for a very long time, and it was a malicious system. They created a whole system of, you know, divide and conquer, so that they could be controlled. You know, and I always look at that. I always look at the reason why people are a certain way. I never just look at them and be like, oh, that's fucked up that they're this way. Yeah, they got problems. Nah, why? You know, why is there xenophobia there? Why, you know, is there just, you can feel that there's, you know, just some issues. I find here it's just less of that.
You find the environment in South Africa to be more tense?
It's a dope spot. It's cool. You just gotta be on your guard more. You know, I was mentioning to you earlier, like here, I can run at 75%. I don't have to always feel like, oh shit. You know, like I did it when I lived in New York or Philly or DC or Atlanta or LA. You know, places where I lived at, where I felt like, you know, you just got to keep, I tell this to younger folks all the time, my kids, like, yo, I don't care if you're at the White House, always keep one eye open. You know, keep that hood eye open at all times, because shit can jump off anywhere. You know, here, yeah, I got my hood eye open, but it's relaxed. Mm-hmm. You know, everywhere
still got
I go,
your common sense.
Yeah, it's just relaxed a little bit. You know, there, my hood eye is open like I'm in New York. You know.
So you said that the cost of living is a lot more expensive here.
Yeah, it's cheaper. I mean, it's more expensive here in Kenya, yeah.
But the trade-off is better being here.
I would just say, always say Kenya is quality of life. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just the vibe, the energy, the safety, the people, how things work here. Electric's on, waterworks, Wi-Fi's everywhere, dope hotels everywhere, dope Airbnbs everywhere, dope clubs everywhere, dope restaurants everywhere, dope lounges being open damn near once a week. You know,
really,
it's just easy living here, quality of life. And as you get older, and your fans that are 40, I'd say 45 plus, which you do have a nice amount of them, understand quality of life. And understand sometimes you don't have to chase the dollar. It's better to have a quality of life than chasing a dollar somewhere where you're making more, but you're spending more, and the quality of life is just not comparable.
I want to ask you a question too, because a lot of people have been trying to book consultations with me, and they hear me say, "Oh, my rent is $850, or I had a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom in Upper Hill for $670 a month," and I say that's with a lease. But if you're doing like a 1 month, 2 month short term stay,
right,
it's usually like 4 times the price.
It's gonna be more, yeah.
Some people, I don't know why. I swear I don't care how clearly I explain this. I say, hey, like if you come to Kenya, you can survive off of $1,200 a month, or maybe even $1,000, and they think that they can pretty much go out to eat, grocery shop, pay rent, and have their girlfriend live with them, and catch Ubers and have a gym membership on $1,000 a month.
Nah, that's not happening.
That's not happening. Surviving means if your income stops, you won't be starving, but you won't be doing anything either. You won't be sitting. You wouldn't even be sitting on this rooftop.
Right. You
would just be in the house praying to God that your income comes back.
You know, I like to compare Nairobi, when I say cost of living, not quality of life, but cost of living, because Nairobi's quality of life is better than anywhere. But maybe in between like Raleigh and Charlotte, like the cost of living is probably somewhere in between there. So it's not dirt cheap, and it's not cheap, but then it's not like crazy freaking expensive. But still, you feel it when you pay for things. You know, the things that I find here that are way more cheaper than in the States is services. So if you want somebody who's going to cook and clean for you 5 days a week, that's anywhere in between $200, $300 a month. Where you have somebody 5 days a week literally cooking and cleaning for you every day.
Yeah.
And they do a damn good job. And as you know, they're very thorough. You know, things that they be wanting to wash, you'd be like, nah, that's okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't have to clean my sneakers every day, every time I come in. You know, but service here is really good. Or if you have to pay someone to be your assistant or to do things for you, things of that nature, it's not as expensive as it would cost if you lived in the States. But when you're talking about rent, buying bottles, still cheaper than if you were buying bottles in the States.
Yeah.
But still, you know, $75 to $100 for a bottle, depending upon what you're drinking, is still $75 to $100 a bottle.
Yeah.
You know, and if you go out for a date, you know, like whether or not it's a business meeting with one person or a date, average for me is, if we're not drinking, 6,000. If we are drinking, could be 10K. You know, which is basically, if it's 6,000, that's $40. 10K is like $75. Whereas in the States, everywhere I go, if it's 2 people, you starting at 100.
Yeah, no drinks.
And they know it's just 100 to 150 to $200. Easy.
Yeah.
Anytime you go out, you know.
Let me ask you this question too, because some people like to leave comments about, like, oh, there's $1,000 is more than enough living in Nairobi. Tell them what their lifestyle day by day, what limitations. Like, I want you to tell them how many dates they're gonna go on a week.
Listen, $1,000 ain't gonna get it here if you want to flow.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to flow and feel comfortable and not be like, when your date has the menu, you just sitting there like hoping she only orders one thing. She don't order appetizers and drinks and all that kind of stuff. You just like you don't want to live like that.
Yeah.
Like, why? Don't even come if you want to be counting your pennies like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's because it's going to be stressful. And who wants to come here and be stressful? You know, your place. I mean, you could find a spot, you know, 500, 400, 300, Shit, you can find a spot for $200 a month here.
But where you gonna be living at?
But it ain't gonna be fly and sexy.
No.
It's just not. It's just not gonna be fly and sexy. It's not gonna be of what you may be used to in the States.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And in Ubers, everything's like on your phone here. So a lot of times you're paying for stuff and you really don't
feel it.
You don't feel it because everything's on your phone. You don't even really take out your card. Like, I don't even use my cards here. I use M-Pesa. You know. So I'm always paying with everything with my phone, so you don't even really feel it. And then you look around and you look at your bank account and you're like, oh shit, how am I going to make it through next week?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you just went on 2 dates. Yeah. You know, you don't want to be in that situation. So don't come here, please, don't come here like, yo, $1,000 a month, I'm going to have a great time. No.
Yeah, I would say you can survive if you're living here.
Yes.
Off of $2,500 a month. Mm-hmm. There should be no Americans complaining about that, because at $2,500 a month, you're on food stamps in the States. Mm-hmm. You're not living. I don't know anybody that can live alone anywhere in the States with $2,500 a month.
Right.
Your rent would have to be $400 or something like that to make it back. But if you're coming for your first trip, I think you should have at least $2,000 for a month to get the spot that you really want, at least. A short-term 1 month stay. And you should probably come with, let's say, $3,000 to $4,000 to spend. Some people like to say, oh, well, I'm not going to do too much. I call bullshit on that. I would never go to a new country and sit in the house.
And especially Kenya.
For a month.
Where you have the coast.
Yeah.
Where you have to go.
Yeah.
You can't come to Kenya without going to the coast. Like, you just can't. You're messing up your whole trip. And you wanted to do a safari. Like, that's a part of Kenya. Like, the safaris. Like, you gotta do one. And them joints ain't cheap. You know. So, and you want to go to nice restaurants and go to places like Mwimbi and stuff like that, where you want to definitely spend, you know, $75, $100, you know, if you want to have a good time, $150 if you got a date. You're just going to want to feel relaxed, and you're going to want to do those things. And then there are going to be events and concerts and festivals, and those tickets are like anywhere in between, if you want VIP, $30 to $50, you know, or VVIP could be $75 to $100. You know, which is still cheaper than what you would pay in the States.
But that's 10% of your budget.
That's $75 to $100 is $75 to $100.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be eating and drinking there. So you don't want to come. I hate people who travel and they tight.
Yeah, because you should be traveling to improve your life, whether if that's dating options, getting away from racism, getting to a safer environment, getting into whether you want, or cost of living, or building a better social circle. Why would you go somewhere with $1,000 a month where you're gonna limit yourself? I mean, okay, $1,000 a month. Scratch dating off the list. Scratch that off the list. The social circle. Scratch. I mean, really, all you got is cost of living. You can't enjoy the weather because you're gonna be stuck at whatever work you're doing to get that $1,000 a month. I mean, what are you really gonna do? So, I don't know, but
Nairobi's not cheap, but then it's not going to hit you over the head either. And I just tell that to everybody. It's, you know, don't just think, oh, I'm going to Africa, everything's going to be cheap.
Yeah.
Ooh, Africa. Nah.
Yeah, try getting something imported. Yeah, try ordering face wash. But
exactly.
Yeah, but if let's say you want to get away from racism, would you have a better shot at getting a rate with which we know the answer? Which country is better to get away from that and have more of a peace of mind when it comes to race?
Nairobi.
Yeah.
Kenya. Shoot, I've been here 10 years. I've heard of like little things that might happen in certain places. Like there's a club, Alchemist, a couple years, I think it was right before COVID or right after COVID, where they had kind of like a little racial issue. But only one time in 10 years have I seen actual racism. And that was, maybe about 8 years ago. I was at this club called Treehouse. It's no longer here anymore. And Sauti Soul was performing. By the way, Salty Soul, the best band in the entire freaking world. But we can talk about them later. Look them up. And I was downstairs waiting to go into the bathroom. And this drunk white chick comes out. And she bumps into a guy. I saw everything happen. She bumped into him. And then she turns around and she goes, "Say you're fucking sorry." And he looked at her like, "What? You bumped into me?" And then she's like, "You fucking nigger." And she said that shit loud as fuck.
Whoa.
So it was like 50 people downstairs. And they were all black. And it was just her. So I'm standing there like, okay, how Kenyans gonna treat this shit, this nigga shit? Like, no one said anything.
Oh,
so
wow.
I was like, the fuck? He didn't even say anything. I was like, whoa. I was like, watch your fucking mouth. And then her man comes out the bathroom. He sees the commotion. And then he grabs her. And he's like, oh, no, she's just drunk. Don't worry about her. And I never use the B word. Like, never use it. Like, never. Maybe if I'm playing around with some of my boys and be like, oh, you B. You know, but I never use B word towards women. But that night, that shit came out my mouth because I was pissed as fuck. And I was like, yo, you need to check your bitch. Like, check her. Because that's some bullshit. He's like, oh, no, it's okay. Da-da-da. And he was like grabbing her, trying to get her out the way and take her upstairs. But I was looking at everybody like, yo, I mean, y'all was colonized. Like, you know, the white folks was doing some fucked up shit to y'all back in the day, to your grandparents and stuff like that. Like, the same shit they was doing to us. Like, but I don't think the nigga word here carries as much weight. Because you know if that shit would have happened in the States, 50 people would have jumped on her ass. Even though she was a woman, men would have hit her, women would have hit her. Like, she would have gotten her ass beat up. You know, but it just, the N-word here just don't have that effect to black folks here. I don't think. But that was surprising. But that was the only time I've ever heard that word or felt any type of racial issues, you know, here.
Okay.
So, and I love that about living here, because I don't have to feel like a black man. I always tell you I feel human here. Like, I don't have to carry the weight of being black. Like, I'm human here, and that's a beautiful freaking feeling.
Yeah. So let's say somebody's like, oh, you know, Kenya is too expensive. Well, let me ask you this: we've already seen. I'm not gonna ask you that because you've already shown where you stay at many times. But some people that aren't worried about a budget, you know, are wondering if Kenya has a large access to luxury lifestyle here.
Oh, freak yeah! You can live better than me here. Like, I've seen some of my people's spots here.
Yeah.
Like homes, like joints look better than homes I've seen in the Hamptons and Martha's Vineyard and Beverly Hills or Hollywood Hills. Like dope cribs. You know, shoot, I used the second house that I stayed in, which was right over there where all that greenery is, which is Spring Valley. That's when I was working for the company Temple that was based out of Lagos. I had a big, beautiful crib with a pool that was huge. It's bigger than that. My personal pool was bigger than that pool over there. And literally from the living room and the kitchen and part of the vestibule area, it was all glass. And you just slide the doors open from any of those spots and take one step and you're in the pool. Like, just once the pool went right up against the house. Like, the house was that dope, and it was on 3 acres of land. Beautiful. Like, I was living good. Like, it was a beautiful house. Beautiful house. Like, they have some dope cribs here.
Wow, I'm gonna have to see some photos there.
Yeah, I'll send them to you. I got some nice flicks, and I used to have these unbelievable parties there.
And I bring that up because some people say, like, they'll skip Kenya because they don't know about the luxury lifestyle if they could live here to go to South Africa.
Right.
But we already said there's a trade-off, and just because you're getting a cheaper luxury lifestyle doesn't mean it's always better.
South Africa is always because I'd probably say out of any country on the continent, South Africa has always been, since the 70s, a spot for African Americans to travel to in Africa. So I think it's been riding off of those residuals of, oh, I'm going to Africa, I'm gonna go to South Africa, because that's that company's had more media, more attention. Did I say company? That country has had more media and more attention than any other country on the continent. So people are just more familiar about it when they think about going to Africa. And then now Ghana, due to the whole year return thing that they've done the last 4 years, has done a great job in marketing. So a lot of people are going to Ghana. But to my personal liking, and nothing against any of those other countries, I'll take Kenya any freaking day. Because when you lay out the pros and cons on a scale, all the pros and cons, yeah, Kenya's got some cons, but I'll take the pros here any day over the cons, because it's like this.
Yeah, they're minute.
It's like this. You can put Kenya up. Shoot, even when I put Kenya up against the U.S. or London, I lived in London for 4 years. It's like this. The pros and cons outweigh every freaking time.
So as you guys can see, Troy's choice of place over South Africa is Kenya. And if you guys want to find out if Kenya is better than South Africa for yourself, you can click the link in the description of the first pinned comment and book a consultation and get a plan set up today. We'll give you the full experience and you get the best network in Kenya that you could have. Just click the link in the description. Now, Troy, do you have any final words for everybody else that loves seeing you on YouTube?
Well, first of all, I want to say to all them comments that Troy always got brown liquor. If you look in here, I'm drinking tea. Hibiscus tea with some lemon, some nutmeg, and some cinnamon in it. I really don't even drink a lot, but when I'm doing interviews, I always like to have a little taste. And Austin, Bobby, they've seen me out. When I go to clubs, I might have 2 drinks in a night. Like literally. When you get old like me, liquor hurts the next day. So I prefer to do other things to make me feel good, that are healthy, other than drinking. So I don't drink a lot. All right, to y'all. I just wanted to get that out there. And then another thing on the whole why Kenya. Take my experience out of it. Every one of my friends, and I've brought close to maybe 400 people here over 10 years, from either the States, the Caribbean, or from Europe. All black. Every last one of them. First of all, no one was like, at the end of their trip, like, yeah, Kenya was cool. It was all right. I've never gotten that. Every last one of them was like, oh my gosh, I have to live here. Like, I have to invest here. Like, I gotta have a vacation home here. I gotta come back. Like, this is amazing. I'll give a great example. One of my boys, he's from Atlanta. He's in his 40s. He's been living in Ghana for 10 years. He came here last October. He was only supposed to be here for 2 weeks. He stayed for 8 weeks. He ended up buying 2 apartments in Westlands, and he's building a house an hour outside of Nairobi, like kind of like a farmhouse outside of Nairobi. And he's like, I don't know why, and nothing against Ghana. I'm just giving this guy's experience. So I don't want people from Ghana jumping in my ass. All right, no Diddy. And I shouldn't even say that. Let me just take all that back. But anyway, he's like, I feel like I wasted 10 years of my life in Ghana. That's what he said to me.
I feel like he did too.
Kenya just is just a special place, and he got it. He extended his trip. He was only supposed to be here for 2 weeks, and then ended up spending a gang of money because now he owns property here. You know, when I did my Howard University trip last year with 10 people, 8 of them want to invest. 3 of them are retiring here. This year, we're bringing about 30, 40 people. Like, this is the place. You met my nephew. He's been here. He comes every quarter. Every 3 months. You know, and he's traveled the world. Like, Kenya is just a special spot, man. Every expat I know here was only supposed to have a 2 or 3 year stint. That's how the contracts normally go for expats, 2 to 3 years. And then they send you somewhere else. Every black, I talk about black folks. Every black person I notice here, there's hundreds of them, are here because they extended their stay, or they just said, all right, well, listen, I don't want to work for you guys anymore. I'll figure out another way to make money, but I can't leave Kenya. Like, this is, I always say this is truly God's country. Like, this is, you can feel it, you know, and it's not just, I'm not giving just my message, I'm giving you the message that I've heard from others, you know, so this is the spot.
Yeah.
Come to Kenya.
Absolutely. So if you guys want to be able to have that same experience that Troy said that he had 400 people in the past 10 years only want to come here for 2 weeks and then they stay for 8 weeks. You can even speak to Troy as well. You guys don't have to speak to me. Troy can set up a plan for you as well. He's actually been waiting on y'all to set up plans, but y'all only want to talk to me for some reason. Y'all say in the comments that y'all want to talk to him, but when y'all book, y'all want to talk to me.
Cause you the man, Austin.
Troy, thank you.
You know,
Troy is
you
the
got
real.
nice pecs and stomachs. You know, they don't want to speak to the old fat dude.
But Troy is the real expert out here. He has a lot more time out here than I do. So, depending on what your style is, I guess if you're an older guy, you know, you can speak with Troy. If you're, I guess, under 40, you can speak with me. Depends on what your flow is like, what you read. But y'all don't really know how Troy get down, so maybe that's why y'all not booking yet. We know who Troy is. But like I said, if you're interested in speaking with
Troy
either one of us.
Books.
Yeah, he reads books, a lot of them. Click the link in the first pinned comment or the description, and we'll get a plan for you set up today. Thank you again, Troy.
Yes. Blessings, boss.